Hi, my name is Maggie Land, and I'm a career management specialist with Rutgers University Camden's Career Advancement Center, formerly known as the Career Center. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the graduate school application process and to give you some insight on how you can make that process easier. And to talk to you guys about the impact of graduate education on your professional journey. So, what does the Career Advancement Center do? We're dedicated to educating and empowering students and alumni in their career planning process. And one of the things we help you do is prepare for postgraduate study. We help you apply to graduate school, so that could include law, health, medical school, a master's in business administration, a master's in public administration, a master's in social work, a master's in education. We also help you guys with career decisions. What career path should I take? Choosing a major or changing your major. We help you figure out, okay, well, if this major isn't working for me, what major does? And then what are the career opportunities that are connected to that major? We help you with interviewing skills, which is really important because some of you will be interviewed as part of your graduate application process. We do job and internship search strategies. We help you with networking, LinkedIn, resume and cover letter critiquing. We also help you critique graduate school essays. The vast majority of you will have to write either an essay or a personal statement for graduate school, and we will help you by critiquing that document and giving you feedback on how to make it better. We also help with job offer and salary negotiations. So, whether you end up in graduate school or not, the Career Advancement Center is more than willing to help you with whatever your professional goal is. So, how does graduate education impact your career? So, I got all of my data from NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers. As a career professional, that is my governing body. That's my professional association. And they do a lot of research with students, with employers, with career development professionals. And they give us a lot of guidelines and a lot of insight on how to use that research in our professional practice. So you might be thinking, do I want a graduate degree? Do I want to go to graduate school right now? And I think having this data on hand is going to make that decision a lot easier. So, master's degree graduates typically earn a higher starting salary than their bachelor degree counterparts. So, the average starting salary for the class of 2023's master's graduates was 27.6% higher than those without a to those with a bachelor's degree. So, fields like biological and biomedical sciences and psychology show a substantial salary increase at the master's level. And I would say that's also true for social work. Some disciplines show a 50% or greater increase in starting salary for students and for master's degree holders. The master's degree holders also tend to have higher employment rates. So, for example, the class of 2023 saw a higher percentage of master's graduates employed or continuing their education compared to bachelor's degree holders. And NACE also suggests that those with advanced degrees may also have an advantage in career progression and opportunities for promotion. So, in short, a graduate degree is going to help you make more money, usually, and it's going to help you have a higher chance of being employed, and it's going to help with your career progression over time. You'll see that for certain jobs in your industry, and this is usually regardless of industry, you'll see jobs that are at the bachelor's level, jobs that are master's preferred, which means they would prefer to have somebody with a master's degree, possibly somebody with a bachelor's degree and a lot of experience. And then you're going to see jobs that are master's and doctoral level. So over time, as you progress in your career, having a master's degree is going to help you get those jobs that are master's preferred or master's required or even doctoral required. Although you tend to see doctoral degrees more in medicine and education. So, how can the Career Advancement Center help? We help you create a personalized graduate school admissions plan. So that can include identifying your interest. I'll have students that say, hey, like, I want to become a master's prepared social worker or I want to get an MBA. Great. But a lot of degrees can land you in a lot of different professional fields. So whether you're coming in knowing you want a particular degree or whether you come in for an appointment and you know, okay, well, I want to become a clinical psychologist. I can sort of help you build out from that and figure out, okay, well, what is your plan? What types of programs are you applying to? We help you choose programs. So based off of, your budget, where you geographically want to be located, what you're looking for in a program, we can help you figure out what are the accredited programs that you can apply to and where are they? What are their admission cycles? And talking about admission cycles, the graduate planning timeline is really important. Most graduate programs have a firm due date. Some of them do what's called a rolling admissions, which is basically that they take applications within a certain time period, but many of them do have a firm deadline and they want all the different parts of your application by that deadline. So let's say the deadline is December 1st and you need to take the graduate record examination and you need to have a personal statement, you need to have letters of recommendation. We help you figure out, okay, well, if December 1st is the date your application has to be in, when should you take your standardized testing? When should you be asking professors and employers for your letters of recommendation? What other parts of your application do you need, and what does the timeline for getting those completed look like compared to the due date of your application? We help you with your personal statement. We cannot write it for you, but we can offer you feedback so that you can write it and make it better. And we also help you find funding. Graduate school is different from undergrad in the sense that funding is harder to find and it looks different. And that can be dependent on the field, where you go. So we can sort of help you figure out, are there ways for your education to be funded or for you to get some supplemental funding? So we have a lot of great resources that you can use. So the first place I'm going to take you is our Career Advancement Center website, which is currently under construction. So by the time you go on the website, it may look a little different. So when you go to the Career Center website, go to students applying to graduate school, and you can go into all of these different resources, test prep, pre-med and health related professions, and we break it down to pre-med, pre-dental, pre-vet, and fields of interest, um, researching programs and pre-law resources. So if any of this applies to you, I encourage you to go on, take a look. If you click on the page, we give you a lot of information on why to attend grad school, where to attend, um, financing your graduate study. So these are a lot of great resources for helping you find funding. So the best scholarships for the best students. I've read this book. It gives you a lot of great information on how to find scholarships, funding for the humanities, grants, annual register of grant support, FAFSA, grants.gov, finaid.org. I would encourage you to look into these resources. A lot of schools will also have teaching assistantships, graduate resident advisor positions. They'll have positions where you work for the school and they pay part or all of your tuition. Some of those positions offer a stipend. There are more ways than you think to find funding for your grad education. Application procedures, writing the graduate admissions essay, and more web resources. Another resource that I think you should look at is if you go to online tools, and I could talk for hours about all of these great resources, but in particular, I would like to talk about the Student Alumni Career Connect. So this is a database filled with Rutgers alumni from all the different campuses. So Rutgers Newark, Rutgers New Brunswick, Rutgers Camden, the Health Professions School, all the different Rutgers campuses. And they opted to be in this database to talk to you guys about your career stuff, grad school, networking. So if you go to the community, you can actually look up, let's say you want to go to law school, you can look up lawyers. You can look up people who practice law, and you can talk to them about, hey, I notice you work in this part of, so I notice you work as a legislative intern. What prompted you to go into that area of law? How is your internship going? What are you doing? I highly suggest either through the student alumni database or through LinkedIn to talk to people in your profession. Talk to people who work in the field. We can give you insight on how to get into law school or how to get into your future graduates program, but we may not be able to talk about the industry, the ins and outs, the insider knowledge of the industry that you want to go into. So knowing people who work in the field, who experience it every day, that's really valuable. Another resource I want to go over is ONET Online. This is a great resource because it gives you background knowledge on, so it gives you insight on different careers, uh, educationally, how do you have to be prepared to be in that career? What salary can you expect to make based on where you live, based on what point in your career you're at? So, for example, healthcare social workers. So it goes into the task, the technology and skills, all this great stuff. Job zone. Job zone 5, extensive preparation needed. Most of these occupations require graduate school. They may require a master's degree. Some may require, in my personal experience, when I'm advising social work students, most of the positions in healthcare social work do require a master's degree. I've seen a couple that are managerial level that may need a doctor in social work degree, a DSW. But I think it's good to know these things before you pursue the career. So if you keep scrolling, it gives you a breakdown of the education. Here we go, wage and employment trends. So let's pick New Jersey. So these are the wages for this job. So this is what you can expect in the beginning of your career, the middle of your career, the end of your career. If you go back, you can actually see that the projected growth is higher than average. So there are going to be more of these positions opening up in the future. It's growing a lot faster than a lot of other jobs. Um, projected job openings for the next decade. You can see it by state as well. It's a part of a top industry, healthcare and social assistance. I highly, highly suggest and encourage you guys to do the research. Know what you're getting into before you spend the money and the time getting a graduate degree. And then if you keep scrolling, this website's going to give you related occupations. If you ever see a little sun next to an occupation, that means it's a bright outlook occupation. We love bright outlook occupations because usually that means there will be jobs there. And then it gives you professional associations. Hot tip, join professional associations. A lot of them have a reduced membership cost or they're free to students. And a lot of professional associations have their own job boards. They have a lot of educational resources. It's a great networking opportunity. They host online and in-person events. And the more you can find out about your future occupation, the better. Also, in addition to these resources, I can't pull up the resources for every single graduate degree because then this presentation would be like an hour plus long. But if you know specifically, like I want to go to law school, I want a master's in psychology, or maybe I want a master's in occupational therapy, look up organizations and professional organizations that have to do with those fields. So, for example, let's say you're interested in law school. The first thing I'm going to tell you is go to the LSAC website, the Law School Admissions Council. You can actually go to this tab, choosing a law school, and then they have a guide to ABA approved JD programs. Another hot tip, check to see that your graduate program is accredited by the accreditation body of the profession. So the American Bar Association accredits JD programs. So when you're looking for a program, I highly suggest for law, it should be ABA approved. And what I love about searching for a program through this website is that you can actually search by credentials. So let's say your GPA is a 3.7 and your LSAT score is like maybe a little above average, like it's a 16 or sorry, a 168. So it's competitive. Um, you can display the schools. We want something where you have over a 75% chance of getting in, and we want it by likelihood of high to low. Search for schools. So now you can look at all the law schools in America and Canada that you can get into based off your credentials. And what this website does is it basically takes information from previous graduating classes to give you this likelihood. Now, let's say you're like, ooh, Widener, that's in Delaware. That's not too far away. You can open the link and it gives you information on Widener University, Delaware Law School. If you go to the American Psychological Association, they have a whole page on education and career. And then you can actually look at different webinars, different articles. They help you choose a program. They actually have a centralized application process for a lot of schools as well. So they actually give you a roadmap to graduate school. Look at these websites. They're going to give you a lot of really specialized information for the degree that you want. Same with the American Occupational Therapy Association. If you give me a minute, it's been a minute since I've been on this website. If you go to education and career, find a school that takes you to the centralized application process, different types of programs, a school directory that you can go to. You can look international, United States. So again, these are really great resources that you guys can use. If you need help finding a website equivalent for what you want to do, talk to your career management specialist. There's three of us that you can talk to. Um, I usually work with business students, social sciences. Jamie Flagg usually works with pre-health advising, and the sciences, STEM, nursing. So there are multiple people in our office that you can talk to about this. So if we go back to the presentation, some pieces of advice that I can give you. I've said this multiple times, but I'm going to say it again because it's important. Do your research. Do your research. The more you know, the more empowered you are to make solid decisions. The more you can plan for the future. Know how much money you're expected to make. Know if there are job openings. And know what area of the country or of the world are those job openings. Do all of these aspects fit into your life plan? Be organized. Get an Excel sheet. Make a list of all the programs you want to go to. Then make another tab for this program. What do I need for my application? For this program, on another tab, what do I need for my application? The more organized you are, the easier this process will be. And this is coming from someone where it took me a very long time to learn how to be organized. When I applied to graduate school, I was not organized and it was a very difficult experience. So I'm talking from personal experience, be organized. Talk to people in your field. Build a network, talk to alumni, talk to your professors. Again, the more information you have, the more empowered you are to make a decision, the better you'll know yourself and what you want to do. I always like to tell students, like, for example, let's say you want to be a school counselor. There are a lot of degrees that can get you into that position, but those degrees help you look at school counseling from different perspectives. Look up in the area you want to live, what degrees do school counselors usually have? Talk to people who have gone through those degree programs. Talk to professors so that you know, okay, for me to pursue this job, I want to do it by getting this degree, by pursuing this licensure down the line. Um, Again, the more you know. How do you get started? This presentation was a lot of information and it can be overwhelming. This is a huge step. So to get started, make an appointment. Talk to me, talk to Jamie, talk to another career management specialist. You can talk to Madeline. We have a really supportive office of people who want to help you. You can make an appointment. For the summer, you can make your appointment through Handshake, but in fall, we are switching to Navigate. So I would say, unless you want to make an appointment over the summer, which you're more than welcome to, in the fall, go to Navigate, make your appointment. You can call the office or you can email us and you can get an appointment set up. We do in person or virtual appointments. If you're coming in person, we're located in the lower level of the campus center below Starbucks. Please come see us. Even if you think you have your whole plan worked out, take a half hour, sit with someone, and talk about your plan because I rather find out if there's a hole in your plan now than a year from now, especially because graduate program application processes are very time-based, right? Usually you're applying in the fall for the following fall. Some of them do have spring start dates, but a lot of programs don't. So you're applying a year ahead for most of these programs. So I think it's really important to sit with someone, talk about what's your plan? What do you have to do? And then in what order should you be doing these things, right? Applying for grad school might mean standardized testing, whether that be the graduate record examination called the GRE. You might have to take the LSAT, you might have to take the MCAT. That's very long term. So you may be studying for that test for 3 to 6 months. And then during that process, you'll be asking professors for recommendations. You'll be writing an essay. So, really having a timeline, having things prioritized, that's very important. Again, my name is Maggie Land. I really enjoyed giving you guys this virtual presentation and sharing my knowledge about getting into graduate school. I really hope to see you either over the summer or in the fall. And remember, believe in yourself. This is a really involved, very daunting process, but we're here to help you and we believe in you. So you should believe in you. You can absolutely get these applications done if you put your mind to it, if you get support. All right? Have a wonderful day.